Hey, how's it going, everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Today I'm going to be showing my best free-to-play Apoc 1 team that I can come up with on my account. If you're interested in that, stick around. Without further ado, let's dig in. Alright, so Apoc 1. This is pretty tough. Doing this with a free-to-play kind of team is going to be a struggle no matter who you are. Getting past that 30k. We're going to overshoot that by a lot, so that is good evidence that without your heroes being quite as good as mine, or maybe not being geared quite as good as mine, if you just make some adjustments, do a little farming, you should be just good to go to get past that 30k, which is the main goal anyways. To get that one key Apoc 1. Now the interest for this sparked up because Slate Gaming had actually sent me a message and she said she's doing a Guild Boss 2 Apoc 1 free-to-play team competition. I thought I'd put my 2 cents in. And I've seen a lot of Abomination use, a lot of Micah use. I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible. The only legendary that's going to be on my team is going to be Volka. There's also going to be a few heroes on there you might not have expected to be in there. Okay, so this is the team here. We have Wrath, Volka, Deimos, and Komodo. Komodo has kind of been surprising me lately. He does a really good job with his applying bleed to the boss, and I really like the guy. He's doing a good amount of damage for me. He keeps surprising me in Guild Boss 2, and actually Guild Boss 1 when I was doing some testing as well. So, but he's mostly there for the bleed, and he does do quite a bit of damage. So I am not running a tank on my Nightmare Council team. As you can see, these guys are all there for raw damage, and raw damage they do. So now definitely going to be bringing Hollow, which is pretty standard for most of these teams. I'm also going to be bringing Estrid, and maybe it's not so common to be seeing Vortex in there, but you need a lot of like oh crap buttons, I'm going to call them instead of swearing, but oh crap buttons you need. You know, you got Isolde as well. The reason I'm bringing Isolde, she's very important for the team. First off, she applies shields to the whole North Throne faction that's on the team, which is all the healers, the very important, you know, healers, and Estrid as well. But she periodically grants all faction team members a shield equal to 20% of their max HP for 20 seconds. The more faction allies are in a team, the more frequently it takes effect. But on her ultimate, when activated, applies block increase, physical damage reduction, and magic damage reduction to all allies in the skill range, which is the square around here. This is essential. Now she is going to be the tank, and she's going to be in some pretty hefty gear. It could be heftier, I'm not going to lie. I kind of held back on this. My account is pretty stacked as far as gear goes, but she's almost 100k HP, 6200 defense. We're going to talk a little bit about defense in this guide as well. And rage regen is about 50%. Beyond that, it doesn't really matter. She is running a tuning crystal just to try to get out some extra damage if she can. The other oh crap button is going to be Vortex. And essentially, the reason I'm bringing Vortex is for his ultimate. He's going to apply all these extra shields to all the allies that are in his skill range. And if he goes over heals anybody, they also get shields. And it's going to really help keep the allies alive. So, I mean, he's pretty essential as well. Alright guys, let's jump into the match here. This is the team we're going to go with. I did swap Abomination in for Komodo. Abomination is just a little more consistent, a little easier to keep alive. I wouldn't say his damage is any better or not, but alright, that being said, I'm going to start off by placing my heroes that I want to have Invig on, and then getting the heroes that are applying the Invig, which is going to be Midan, Dolores, and Hollow. I'm going to start with Wrath up here. I'm going to put Dolores here. I'm going to have Estrid right here. I have Midan right next to her. We're going to put Deimos right here. We're going to put Hollow facing upwards here. That should give him the Invig buff. Of course, he is going to go ahead and place his Wailing Skull as soon as possible. We're going to put Volka over here, I think, on the left side. And then we're going to put the Abomination right here as soon as that Wailing Skull gets out of my way. Now in the first phase, you don't really have to worry about the Titans or the Saw here too much. The Death Saw. But typically, when the Saw goes up, comes down, right before it hits, you're going to want to use Vortex's ultimate. That should apply a bunch of shields to everybody. And then when it comes, right when it does hit, you want to apply Isolde's ultimate. That way when it comes to the other side of your team, her ultimate will be protecting the allies around here, these 7 allies here. Now, the first hit is only going to hit these 3 on this side of the field here, and then the second hit is going to hit all these other guys, plus Dolores. So this is really difficult to kind of time right. In this first phase, you don't have to worry about it, but later phases, you do have to take that into consideration. So now, right around 25%, I'm going to go ahead and activate all the DPS units, Dolores and Hollow, and get everybody cycling back forward. They should get a good chunk of damage when he's in a vulnerable state, and take a good chunk off of him in this next state here. I do have it in 2x. Now this phase here, he's going to keep building up these Aegis stacks. I'm sorry, they're called Aegis stacks. Aegis stacks. It's going to enhance the damage to Earth Shatter, and it's also going to increase his physical and magic damage reduction by 6% each time he stacks it up. Now you don't really have to use your ultimate in this area, but I am going to at this phase. Typically I try to survive about 4 or 5 stacks on Apoc 1, and then I will go ahead and activate right when he goes into vulnerable. But in this case, we're just going to make sure that we get into vulnerable state here, and we should be able to handle this first phase pretty easily. Now we are into the Titan's Drake phase. You see we've done a big chunk of damage already because of the way they overlap. Now this arm is going to come over. It is going to add more poison stacks to what we have already. As soon as it gets to about right here, we'll be able to activate. You can see it go to 10. Go ahead and activate our ultimate, and then you will activate Hollow as soon as it comes up to be ready to cleanse those off as soon as possible the next round. And that is how I'm going to typically handle most of these phases. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a time lapse, and I will move myself off of the screen, and I will see you when things get dicey again in the match, which is going to be about phase 3 or phase 4 of the boss. Alright, so things are looking pretty solid right now. See if I get myself up a little higher on the screen. That works for me. We just had to survive the Aegis shield here. Can we do it? I'm pretty sure we got this. That should get us into the 40k mark, and then there's the RNG of the poison from the Titan's Drake, and I don't really know if it's just like a damage RNG, or if it's the falling stones coming and hitting somebody they're not supposed to be, or what it is, but it is annoying, and you don't really know how glitchy this boss is until you try to record a video showing a free-to-play series for the Guild Boss 2 Apoc 1, but it has been driving me absolutely bananas. Do I defend myself? Not yet, let's do it. We are just trying to survive here at this point. Play it safe, play it safe. So let's activate these guys. I'm a little nervous here. about the timing of this. Activate Isolde for some extra AoE damage reduction. Okay. I'm not crazy about the state of what we're entering into this Titan's Drake on phase 3, but I think that I'm just gonna have to accept it for what it is. We'll see what happens. The poisons here are a bit much for a lot of the epics and the free-to-play style heroes here. It's really difficult for them to kind of hold up to this kind of damage. I'm not gonna wait for Estrid. I don't have time to wait for Estrid. Here is the test. Can we survive this? I am gonna activate Isolde. Hopefully the heals that they have going on can kind of keep up here. Activate Vortex right now. Survive, please. Oh my gosh, it's so awful. They cannot survive this. It is too much, but I'm sitting at 43.9, 43.7. They will not survive this wave of poisons. There is no way. No way. There they go. It is awful. 44.1, 44.1. I'm gonna take that, and it's gonna be my entrance into competition for Guild Boss 2 Apoc 1. It has been a doozy, I gotta say. I've been trying to re-record this for about 3 hours, maybe. It's been driving me crazy, so I will say I'm not really impressed with the RNG of the Guild Boss now that I have tried to record this video, but here's my run. Here's the team. We got Deimos at 146k, 146 million damage, Estrid coming in at 92, Volka at 89, 90 almost, Wrath at 63, Abomination at 46, almost 47, and Isolde is just there. These are all support heroes. You got to kind of remember that the best offense sometimes is just a good defense. And in Guild Boss 2, it's not a race, it's a marathon. You want to last through each of those shield waves as long as you possibly can. If you can try to find a way to cleanse your team longer and longer and longer throughout that, then you're good to go. But you have to also consider that you have to bring enough damage to kill, I want to say to defeat that Titan Saw phase as soon as possible as well. So really, it's all about balance. You try to run your team, and then when you get to the end of the fight and you didn't quite make your goal wherever you're trying to shoot for, kind of make sure you pay attention to what's happening in the end there and find out what is actually causing the issue, and then make some adjustments and then go back in. Play with it. It's one of those things where you can't just accept what you have and then say, oh, okay, well, that's all I got. Maybe you didn't do something right. Maybe when your teams could, when your heroes could do a little better for you. Anyways, going through the team's builds here. You have Wrath, Infernal Roar, Warlord set. You're gonna probably be kind of not too surprised, I guess, by some of the gear that these heroes have on. They are quite tanky, and they are quite, I want to say, overpowered as far as their gear goes, and artifacts as well. 45k HP on Wrath with 17.2k attack, crit capped, almost 300 crit damage. Rage regen is about 23%. And he is in his exclusive artifact at level 10. We'll go into Volka. She's in a Soulbound Arcana set. She's pretty much there for raw damage. I also want to make sure that she has enough rage regen to cycle back to her ult to get those vulnerabilities up. She's only at 13.5k attack, 421 crit damage. This is why she has to stay within range of Dolores. When it comes down to using her ultimate, she's gonna start doing a ton of damage at that high crit damage. But she will not be doing a ton towards the end there if she's not in, if Dolores is not in her ultimate form. Alright, Deimos. You're gonna see kind of a common trend here going on with that. He's about 13.2k attack, crit capped, 367 crit damage. I could bring him down to like 330 and boost up his attack by another 1 or 2k. I just didn't find it really worth it, and he's also another one that stays within Dolores range. Abomination, Infernal Roar set as well. He is purely focused on attack. He does not stay within range of Volka, of Dolores. So I do have his attack fairly high at 24k, and his crit damage is sitting right around 200 or 250. You could probably pump it up to 300 if you really wanted to optimize that. And he's in a Realm Tear as well. Let me see, I forgot to show Volka is in her exclusive at level 10. Now, these epic healers and support heroes are pretty special. I'll show a little bit more details about their build. We have a Hollow at 41.2k HP, 9.2k attack, 1.5 attack interval, and she has 86% rage regen with a 57 healing effect. I have HP bonus, attack speed, rage regen. I didn't have them with another one with attack bonus on it, otherwise I would have put that on there. We're building her just like a lot of people do, except we don't put attack speed on the amulet. We want to make sure that these heroes are awfully tanky, okay? You're not going to be able to run your epic support heroes in attack speed amulets. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. And you're not going to do it with rage regen rings either, typically. Now this one does have an HP bonus and a defense bonus on it as well. And I want to point out one of the biggest issues with the epic heroes is going to be their defense. Compared to a lot of the other heroes, epics, especially Hollow, Dolores, the reason that they're dying off isn't just because of their HP. Dolores or Hollow here is very susceptible being taken out pretty early in the game, and she's got 41.2k HP. Her biggest issue actually comes down to her, she has like no defense. You want to be running that up to like 1500 to 2k defense if you possibly can get her there. Now she's running a euphoric orb as an artifact. Isolde, we have her sitting in a nice tempered will set on the right side. That's going to reduce the damage that she takes by 15%, and for each enemy blocked, she's increased the defense by 5%, stacking it 4 times. You can just run her in a guardian set, that's just fine. I do suggest some rage regen if you can get it. Life force on the left side. You're focusing on HP percentage and defense percentage, and looking at almost 100k with 6200 defense, 50% rage regen. And I do have her in a tuning crystal for damage. Midan is very important, so I did put a little more emphasis on focusing to her gear. She has 60% rage regen, 47.5k HP, 1.4 second attack interval. Let's see, we have 59 rage regen and 44 healing effect. We're running 3 healers, so their healing abilities don't have to be through the roof, especially when you're running Midan in this kind of high HP. Now, I do have to put emphasis again. I did stack her defense pretty well because I did not want to risk losing her at any point in time. I don't want to just like, oh, we had a squishy hit and now here Midan's gone. So build up her defense and these heroes' defense. You're gonna have to farm a lot to get to that level. Here's Estrid. She's gonna be in a Soulbound Arcana set. A little bit of emphasis on HP, not too much. 16.8k attack, 100% crit rate, 375 crit damage. You could shoot the crit damage up a bit higher, kind of sacrifice more attack because she does stay in Dolores range. Vortex is another silly one. You always want to try to get a little bit of defense on these guys. He's at 1k. I'd prefer 1500 defense on higher. It seems to help a lot. 35.6k HP, 1.4 second attack interval with rage regen 110% and healing effect is through the roof. So that helps with the HP as well. I did put a little more emphasis on rage regen with Vortex. That has to do with because his shields are just lifesavers. Taya's Bomb is also important. It increases healing multiplier by 50% when healing a hero with less than 40%. So when they get those big hits and he comes in and heals them, it's just like boom, okay, you're good. Dolores, look at this. Oh, that's such a weird piece, isn't it? These guys are so hard to keep alive. Defense is the best offense in this kind of guild boss fight. So we're looking for HP bonus Bangle. I have a attack bonus with HP bonus substat on the bottom here. There's also this is a really nice set for Dolores, and the same kind of concept, attack bonus with nice high HP bonus on the substats. On the right side, I'm looking for just attack bonus, flat attack, HP bonus, defense bonus. These pieces are kind of rare to find and get good rolls on, but here attack bonus, defense bonus, flat HP. I'd prefer a flat defense there, and a nice roll on HP bonus. She comes in at 33.6k HP, 2k defense, 12.5k attack, and the rest of the stats just don't really matter. I'm just trying to keep her alive. To help with rage regen, I put her in a maxed out golden scarab. I forgot to show Midan. Midan is also in a maxed out golden scarab. But anyways, guys, that's it for the video. This is my entrance to Slate's Guild Boss 2 Apoc 1 free to play challenge, and I also hope you guys learned something along the way. Maybe you kind of picked up some extra tips. Maybe some of these heroes are better than you thought they were. Probably not. We're running a pretty OP kind of free-to-play team here, especially with Abomination. But you could run, like I said, you could run Komodo, you could run Vladov, you could run. We see there's some more in North Throne here for good options here. You could run your Maul. You could run, you know, Mari if you decided to run Mari. You'd be okay. Here's another fighter that's pretty good here. Rourke. You could run Rourke. He's not bad. If you get an Elwyn, stick an Elwyn in there instead of Midan. If you get yourself a Furcy, stick Furcy in there instead of Vortex. Get yourself a Torador, stick him in there instead of Wrath. This is kind of the basic kind of thing you need for the team. You can upgrade it from here whenever you get a chance. But anyways, that's it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, keep digging.